You are now listening to CTR Media Network.
What up, family? CTR Media Network. Yeah. Best in the biz. Yeah. Join the team. CTR is who we are. The media network, that's the best by far. Whether you listen at your home, at your job, in your car, come get the information that's needed above all. Never lasting. Motivational podcasting, giving you the answers to your questions.
This is Olivia Tucker. I should say Dr. Olivia Tucker, and she is leveling up the podcast on CTR Media Network.
That's me. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks to her, my podcast is doing great.
350 million, they tuning in. We in 50 different countries, we all can. And like-minded, find your purpose and your assignment. Come get your fix, your feel, your mental alignment. Get active and speak to the masses. Build your influence, all levels and all classes. Now you know you can monetize and grow. CTR Media Network, start the show. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network. CTR is who we are. The media network, that's the best by far, you know. CTR Media Network. CTR Media Network.
CTR Media.
What up? What up, family? CTR Media Network. Yeah. Best in the biz. Yeah. Join the team. CTR is who we are. The media network, that's the best by far. Whether you listen at your home, at your job, in your car, come get the information that's needed above all. Never lasting. Motivational podcasting, giving you the answers to the questions that you asking. Serious talks and topics, how to come up and profit, how to better yourself. Your health is here, we got it. Reaching 350 million, they tuning in. We in 50 different countries, we all can. And like-minded, find your purpose and your assignment. Come get your fix, your feel, your mental alignment. Get active and speak to the masses. Build your influence, all levels and all classes. Now you know you can monetize and grow. CTR Media Network, start the show.
The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it.
Hello. I am so excited today, as I always am, and I'm excited about my guest today, Miss Shayla Unik, and she's going to talk about you being unique. And I want to say, if you're listening, please share and please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my Facebook page, and join us for our conversation today. And you know what? I am going to let my guest share with you who she is.
My name is Shayla Unik. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, born and raised.
and 7 years ago, my children and I were homeless. Now, fast forward to 7 years now, I am now the Director of Human Resources for an architecture firm, Hamilton Anderson. I also do motivational speaking. I speak to young ladies and women and encourage them and empower them to know that bad decisions and mistakes do not have to define you nor confine you. I'm a living testimony, and I speak and I tell young women that I used to be out in the streets. I used to date the wrong type of people for the wrong reasons, whether it was money or whether it was fame, but all of that comes to an end. And then what are you left with? No one but yourself. So my products are Unik I Am, and so they are an array of different shades of Black women, because we all are different shades, but we all experience things in a similar fashion, no matter what shade, whether you're light skin or dark skin or brown skin or cocoa, whatever you want to describe yourself as. We all face challenges. We all face adversity. And no matter what your background is, you're unique.
Yes, and I am so honored and happy to introduce to you Miss Shayla Unik. How are you today?
Oh, I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I am awesome. I am blessed. I thank God that you're here today. And you have quite a story.
Yes.
And you know, when you consider homelessness is like one of the major issues in our country, can you kind of share with, and I've experienced it myself, so I know what kind of, how it can impact on a life and a family. So you want to share with us a little bit about the circumstances that caused you to be homeless?
Yes, absolutely. So, just as I stated in the video, we all make mistakes. We all make bad decisions. And I was following behind the wrong person. And basically, I gave my money to somebody who did not own the house that I was attempting to move to. And because of that, and because really it probably was not the best time or the best way for me to up and make the move that I was making. I feel like now looking back, that was my moment of God humbling me, for me to not do what it is that I wanted to do, but just to follow the path that He had designed for me. And so because I did not do that, it caused us to become homeless. I did not have enough money to take and go and just put it on a new apartment or put it on a new place or things like that. And so we started to live in a motel that allowed for you to pay like a rent or more so, but week to week. And I was able to find, like, on Craigslist, they had a special. And that's kind of how we became homeless. I did not even realize that we were homeless until I enrolled my daughter in school. And it was, you have to check the box. Do you live in an apartment? Do you live in a house? Do you live in a shelter? We didn't live in any of those. And I asked the lady as I was filling out the paper, I told her, we don't live in any of these. I told her the situation. She said, baby, you're homeless. I was appalled. I didn't realize that. And it was at that moment that, again, it was that humbling moment to make me realize that I made a mistake. I made a bad decision, and it caused me to be in the situation at that time. But thank God I am where I am today, and I experienced what I experienced at that moment, at that present time, because it made me who I am today. Had I experienced it at another point in my life, I can't say that it would have humbled me or shaped me to be who I am today.
I understand and I appreciate you sharing that story. And you know, we all do things thinking that it's going to work one way and it ends up being another way. And we cannot beat ourselves up for it, which is
Right.
a part of your message and what
Yeah.
it is you're letting people know. Just because you go through stuff, you know, you said your decisions do
Mhm.
not define who you are. And I love the way you said that. We
Thank you.
make decisions, and sometimes those decisions are not the best decisions for us. And we got a comment coming in, and I'm having a problem with my mouse, trying to get over to the comment. Okay. Yes, okay. Hello, Chelsea. And she's saying she's giving love. She's giving love. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And so, in looking at, I want you to tell our audience and what inspired you to do your products. Talk a
Mhm.
little bit more about what it is that you do,
Mhm.
how it is that you came to recognize your purpose
Mhm.
and your passion. So I'm going to give you the floor and give you some time to talk about those things.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. First of all, it's an honor to even be here and share my story. I definitely feel privileged to be where I am today. As I shared, I was homeless with my daughter at the time because I made a bad decision. But through those humblings, through those teachings, I became more aware of what I needed to do to put us in a better situation. And so although at times we may work jobs that we don't necessarily care for, or being in an environment that we have to work in to be able to provide the basic necessities for our families, I became a member or a team member at the Waffle House. And I worked my way through there, saving tips and things like that. And later on, I realized after a failed marriage, along this journey and having another child, which is my son, that I needed to do better. I had to do better, not just for me, but because I had two dependents who were depending on me. And so after fighting with myself, after battling who I was and where I needed to be, I did move back home to Detroit, Michigan. And that is where I started on this new path that God had designed for me, not what I wanted, but again, I fought with myself. So it wasn't the direction that I wanted to go in, but it was the direction that He had me to go in. And so when I came back home, I was afforded an opportunity to work in human resources as an assistant through a temp agency. That position there taught me a lot. I had to learn a lot, read a lot, and it put me in a position where after that assignment was over, I was able to join another assignment, and that became the gate that God put me through to walk through to on that path. And with that, I started there, and because of my previous teachings in HR, I was able to save the company close to $90,000 within my first 30 days. And so they were
Wait a
very
minute. You said within your first few days?
30 days, in the first 30 days of me
Oh,
being there. They have these forms. We have these forms when we become employed called I-9 forms. And those are the most important forms that you could ever fill out for a job. And if you don't fill them out correctly, which is your eligibility to work in the United States, there's a fine for every mistake on that form. And so when I got there, I saw so many mistakes on the forms, and I had everyone like start to do them over really quickly, like please, so we don't get in any trouble. And within those 30 days, we had an audit. Little did I know. And because of the changes that I implemented within those first 30 days, there was a $90,000 savings from the mistakes that I had individuals correct in that time frame. And so, of course, they were like, you know what? Forget the temp thing. You're hired. So that's how I kind of got on that path. They gave me the chance that I didn't know that I needed to be successful and continue in a direction that was designed for me.
that is amazing. And there's a lot of twists and turns, and we never know how the things are going to end up being. We just land, and we land right where God wants us to be.
Yes.
And 30 days, that is amazing. That
Yes.
is so that tells me you're very detail oriented.
Very, very detail oriented. I'm very I love words. So I'm really big on like wordplay and just learning how to really communicate. I'm very authentic. And I think that is what gravitates people towards me to be able to effectively do jobs such as human resources, because I keep the human in the human resources.
Hey,
And
that's
that's what
what
I
you
tell everyone. I'm a human first before anything.
absolutely. And in jobs, when you consider your number one resource is your human
Human.
resource. And
Yes.
it's important that employers learn how to treat their employees. And it sounds like you stepped up to the plate, you made a difference like that, and they
Yes.
could not do anything but respect you and give you a permanent job.
Yes. Gave me my permanent job. And, I take nothing from but gratitude, appreciation from that company. I was there 10 years. I literally grew in the company over the 10-year span. And I went from being the coordinator to being the assistant to being the manager to becoming certified in human resources where I can practice in 50 states to being a director and to being in a position where, I had reached a plateau, and it was just like, okay, let's figure this out. And I was able to separate ourselves from each other, and for me to stand alone. And almost a year ago today, I left my corporate position to now support small businesses and individuals with HR support and resume upgrades. So I take nothing from it. I will never be upset at the transition that I made, because again, if I was put in that position before I had to go through something, I don't think that I would appreciate the transition as much. So,
And just think, you were able to acquire the certifications, the training, and everything you need. God was preparing you for such a time as this, because
yes,
there are a lot of small companies that have HR issues and they
yes,
need you. And
yes,
we've got scrolling how you can get in touch with Shayla.
yes.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. And you also have you co-authored a book.
Yes, yes.
I am woman. Tell us
I
about
am.
the book.
Yes. So again, I don't believe anything happens by chance. I was afforded the opportunity the middle of last year to co-author with some amazing, amazing women around the United States, to be a part of a book called I Am Woman. And it was basically like, Shayla, we've heard your story before, and we want you to be able to use your voice, your authenticity, and help someone else. Use your same voice in speaking, and let's try to write this out for the readers. And so in the book I Am Woman, I talk about just being, not just being a woman, but being a woman who has gone through things where we thought that love was what it was supposed to be, with the white picket fence and the perfect children and the singing and the pies and all of those things, where we imagine our love life looks like. But yet and still, life has a way of changing that, or we have a way of not really knowing how to go after what we want when it comes to love. And so I talk about how I went through a really life-changing relationship, and it not only changed my life in terms of being a woman, or attempting to take some things from me as a woman and going through them, holding my head high, and still realizing, like, you know what, even through all of that, I am still woman. And so my section of the book just inspires you to know we gonna have bad relationships, we gonna have bad times, we gonna have, those moments where we think we're in love, but we're in lust. But God provides, and God is still there. Even when we think that we're turning our backs on him, he never turned his back on us. And
Never,
even through the
never.
love that we give to a human, he still loves us. And that's what my part of the book talks about. I turned my back on God. I turned my face to, love, and it wasn't what it was supposed to be. But at the end of the day, I was spent back around, because God never turned his back on me. And I'm still here today to say, listen, I am woman.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. And I do want to kind of talk about relationships, because I'm sure that you have some things that you can share with some young women that may be listening either now
Mhm.
or to the replays. And so you talked about so what were some of the lessons that you learned
Mhm.
in those relationships? And what would you say are the most important things when
Mhm.
determining a relationship?
Okay. So I will first of all say I am not a relationship expert. I am sitting here single.
I know, but I just want your opinion. I know this
Absolutely.
is your opinion.
Yes, I have a daughter. I have a she will be 17. And to any young lady out here, I definitely would say to you, figure out how to love you first. Don't rely on someone else to love you, because whatever you're relying on, or whoever you're relying on, if it's not there anymore, who do you have, or what do you have? So first, love yourself. And even going through a failed marriage, I look back and I realize that a few things. One is that I had a marriage on paper, but I never had a husband, and there's a difference between the
Yes.
two. But although I did not have the husband that God designed for me, I realized the role that I played as a wife and where I failed at. And so a lot of times, or oftentimes, we go through a marriage or we go through a relationship like, you know what, that's it. But we got to reflect and look at ourselves. We got to say, where did I go wrong? And God, help me to fix and be more, put more of you in me. So that way, when it happens again, or if it happens again, you recognize it in its true sense. I don't want to be shown anymore how a relationship not supposed to look, I want to know and be in the midst of a relationship that is supposed to work. But in order for that to happen, I had to realize who I am. I had to realize where I needed to be within, not just in a physical space, but in a mental space as well. And so I would definitely tell every young lady, every woman out here, that if you don't love you first, there's nobody else on earth that can, not even your children.
Amen. Amen. I'm so glad I asked you that question. I'm just kind of going with the flow.
Yeah, let's go.
But I'm so glad I asked you that question, because you made some very, very important points. A lot of times people get out of relationships and they want to jump right back into another one without doing exactly what you said you need to do. Get to know yourself.
Yes.
And when you've been in a toxic relationship, you lose some of yourself. So you got to regroup and find yourself again.
Yes.
And become the best version of yourself. And many times you cannot do that if you jumped right back into another relationship. You need to assess, who am I?
Yeah.
What do I want out of life? What type of relationship am I looking for? What type of relationship do I want God to send me?
Absolutely. And it's no time limit. It's no time frame on a healing process. It's no time frame on, loving yourself. Love yourself as slowly and as methodically and as you would want the next person, whoever you're going to be with, to love you. You got to love yourself that way first.
Amen.
I love you. So I'm good with taking my time.
Right. Exactly. And give yourself that time. It is so important. And make time for you, even in the midst of all the other things that you're doing. Mm-hmm. I made it a point before getting ready to soak in some Epsom salt and a bubble bath. And it made me feel better.
Much better. And just do something for yourself. The things you do for somebody else to do for you, do it for yourself. You want somebody to take you out to eat? Take yourself out to eat. Go out to eat. And you might find that person there. Do what it is that makes you happy. Don't look for somebody else to pour that into you or fulfill you for that. Because if they leave or something happens, then you so codependent on that you don't know how to do it for you.
Right. You gotta make sure that you have that confidence within yourself, that you love yourself. I mean, you can't, and in all honesty, you cannot, and I don't care what anybody says, you cannot love anybody else fully, completely, unconditionally if you don't love yourself.
Yes.
Scripture even says, love thy neighbor as thyself.
So you got to love yourself before you can love the neighbor. And that's for your children. That's for your spouse. I love my children. And even through the love that I have for my children, I noticed that when I started loving me first, I loved them differently. It's not that there was never anything taken away or, but if anything, there was more added to them when you love yourself and you can know how to genuinely pour that into them as well. So absolutely.
Absolutely. And I need to take a commercial break. So we will be right back.
Diamonds and emeralds and pearls, oh my. Diamonds and emeralds and pearls, oh my. Sapphire Emerald Magazine truly knows the gifted and talented people.
Sapphire Emerald is a magazine that represents the diversities of the world's news. We believe in presenting people in a positive light and helping the public see them in a different perspective. We report on entertainment, nonprofit organizations, film producers, actors, actresses, culinary arts, fashions, and the positive principles of understanding art. Our mission is to bring people's spectacular talents into focus and allow them to sparkle like the precious emeralds, diamonds, pearls, and sapphires.
Sapphire Emerald Magazine. Their issue coming out this month will be focusing in on legends for Black History Month. And if anyone's interested in being featured on Sapphire Emerald, check it out. The email, again, let me put it up there. Contact Sapphire Emerald Magazine at gmail.com and tell them you heard it on the Vera Thomas Show. Yes. All right. So let's get back to our conversation here. I'm loving. Okay, so you have said so much in this short period of time about recognizing and loving yourself.
Yes.
Let me ask you, when did you get to that point of recognizing that in yourself, and what was your childhood like?
Okay, that's a full question. So I recognize that, loving myself was important, I think, when I didn't have anything else. And I would see my children looking for things from me that I didn't have. And it wasn't necessarily material things or things like that, but it was more of the love, the genuineness. And if you can literally look into your children's eyes or even look into the eyes of someone who genuinely does love you and you don't love yourself, you can't see what they see. And that's harder. That's putting more weight on yourself. And so I made it my mission to, you know what, Shayla, you are so much better than this. You were named Shayla Unik for a reason, and you have to live up to that. You have to be the person that your children need for you to be. And in order for me to be that, I had to, Shayla, snap out of it, get back to not just get back to being who you were, because we never want to go backwards, but get into being who you are and who you want to be. So I had to figure out, where do I want to be? I knew it wasn't in the space that I was in. I knew it was in a much better place. So in order for me to get there, in order for me to rise to get to a place or a space that I wanted to be in, I had to say, Shayla, you got to do this for you so that you can be able to do this for your children. And once I can do it for me, I could do it for my children. I could be able to do it for those around me who genuinely supported me and who genuinely loved me and accept that for what it was, instead of, being afraid to allow that to come into my space. Because when you don't love yourself, it's hard to accept or know what love is when it's coming from other people. It can be genuine, but you don't recognize it because you don't love you.
Right.
So you got to love you first. And once I did that, once I realized that, once I snapped out of it, and realized, like, girl, you are it, and I started to take those strides and prove to myself, not just say it to myself, but take the strides to do that and be exactly what I'm saying to myself. The love that I have for me genuinely started to pour out into others.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because if you've got that love for yourself, you have that confidence, that assurance that gravitates and attracts other people like you.
Yes.
To surround yourself around.
Even if you have a fake love for yourself, you're gonna attract fake love. People who you think may love you, who you think may like you, but you're attracting what you are. When you are genuine, when you are authentic, that's what you're gonna attract. Is true with the dynamics. You are what you are is what you attract. When I was a negative person, or when I was always down on myself, I had other people around me who were rooting for that, or who were just like, forget it, do you live your life, and that's cool to say, and that's fine, but that's not okay.
It's not okay. No, it's not. It's not okay.
You have to be around people who want to build you up to go in a direction that you're trying to go in. And in order for you to do that, you have to authentically know who you are and where you want to be. And those type of people are the people that attract. And you start to get to the places that you want to go and climb the ladders that you're seeking to climb. So,
amen. You got to, yes, absolutely. And we got to go to another commercial. We'll be right back.
Hello, everybody. I am Dr. Tina J. Ramsey, and I want to share with you about CTR Media Network. Have you heard? CTR Media Network is a new standard of podcasting with over 30 plus podcasters. We reach 350 million global listeners worldwide in over 50 plus countries across all major podcasting and social media platforms. We have featured over 1,000 guests. What we specialize in is helping business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, and fellow podcasters expand their visibility on our platform. We're all about positioning with visibility, connections, and teaching you how to monetize what you do. Let me tell you something. If you're a business owner, we have sponsorships opportunities. We have commercial slots. We also have opportunities for you to be a featured guest on any of our shows. So what are you waiting for? CTR Media Network is who we are, and this is where you need to be. So go to ctrmedianetwork.com and click our store feature so that you can see which opportunity fits your life and your budget so that we can get started working with you today.
CTR Media Network. Let me tell you, I am so proud to be a part of this network. And if you want education, you want monetization, speaking of monetization, let me say, please, if you are enjoying this show, please donate. And you can donate by Cash App, $Instill Great, PayPal, or Zelle. Vera Thomas Show 1117 at gmail.com. I did put it in the comments, so by all means, did you hear that? By all means, please help me support this show. Your donations are greatly appreciated and needed. So help me support the show so that I can have more. Speaking of which, I'm coming on for twice a month, twice a week now. Starting this Thursday, I'll have a show on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7:00. So check it out on Thursday. Okay, and again, Cash App, Instill Great, PayPal, and Zelle. Vera Thomas Show 1117. Thank you very much. Your contributions are greatly appreciated. Love you. Okay. All right. Now back to where we were.
Hello. I'm still here. I'm here. I'm ready.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And now you have products and there are things. Tell me about the work that you're doing with your clients.
Yes, absolutely. So Unik I Am, actually, there are 3 parts to Unik I Am now. I'm really humble and grateful to say that. There's a product side where I produce t-shirts, journals, I have tumblers, coffee mugs, and different things. And that part of Unik I Am is what the brand was founded on. It was founded on empowering young ladies and women to not allow bad decisions and mistakes to define who we are or confine us. And so with my logo, it's an array of different shades of Black women. And I use that because although I have a story, we all have a story, no matter what shade of Black you are, whether you're light skin or dark skin, brown skin, whatever you want to decide, your complexion of brown is, we all have a story. We all have a journey. And so as I was going through my personal journey, I started to use things such as journals and my coffee mugs, because I love my coffee in the morning, t-shirts and things to represent who we are and to get the message out there that, no matter what you go through, no matter what bad decisions or mistakes you may make, you're still unique. And so my logo and my brand, it was founded on representing that. And so on that realm, I have, like I say, the t-shirts, I have the journals, I have hoodies and different things. And what I find unique about my products is that once I run out of it, I don't typically make it again. So you truly get a unique product when you purchase something from Unik I Am. And then I started a new collection under my products called the Corporate Collection. And that was created because when I stepped into corporate, like I shared on my story, I was coming from a whole different walk of life. And I didn't have the look or have the things that some of the other people that I saw that were in the corporate sector had, the top name brand purses and things like that. And so my corporate collection was created for those who may be transitioning into those spaces and places, or who may be looking and seeking to go there, or even if you're not, it was just created for you to feel like the boss that you are. You know, my corporate collection was created so that you can feel like, you know, I'm a boss. I don't have to pay that cost, but I am still a boss. So with my product side, that's what I have there. And then I do speaking engagements such as this, where I get to share my story on different platforms with other young ladies, other women, other people who may be or may have experienced some of the things that I have in life. And I just give them hope, empower them, encourage them to know, you know, I'm not a A-list celebrity yet, but you know, the things that I've gone through, the things that I talk about are real life situations, and people who go through them, they may not be as comfortable to talk about it, but I give them the voice that they didn't know that they had, or didn't know that they needed to hear, when I share my story of going from being homeless to an award-winning director of HR. And then there's the HR piece, right? There's the part of me where with the business, I support small businesses and individuals with resume upgrades. And I do this because I was in a position where I was able to see us being looked over when it comes to writing a contract, or when it came to writing a resume, what mistakes we were making, what documents we may have been missing in a contract, or the language that we needed to use that we may not have known. And again, going into the last company that I was in, sometimes just being in business, you don't know what you don't know. And that's where I step in. That's where I come in with the HR support. You know, I make sure that you know what you don't know, or I try to help you to fill in to know what you don't know. And then with the resume upgrades, I've been able to I'm that fills my heart, but I've been able to help people to get in positions and get into places and spaces that they didn't know or realize where they were able to get into. I don't just take a resume or take a person's name and say, you know, copy and paste exactly what you have. I tap in and make sure that you know you can be at the highest potential that you want to be. So you may be a child daycare worker, but to me, you are quality control over adolescents. You may service representative at Walmart, but to me, you are a customer engagement specialist. So it's things like that that I do for individuals who we don't realize, like customer service. No, 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 no. You are a customer engagement specialist. It's nothing different in what you saying and what I'm saying, because you are engaging with the customers, right? And you are a specialist in what you know, because me as the customer, I don't know the price. Obviously, I don't know how to do what you're doing. So you're a specialist at what you're doing and what you're bringing to each customer. So it's just those little things where I help people to upgrade. You know, my slogan for that is like, upgrade your resume, upgrade your life. And I'm just
I
trying
know that's right.
people to upgrade their lives by upgrading their resumes and making sure that they are, you know, when you own a business, that you are not, that I want to make sure that I'm helping you to avoid common costly mistakes, because those little mistakes can cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. And, you know, I use my teachings and my certification to make sure people know I didn't just take that test and do all of that for nothing, you know.
Right,
I
right.
take again. But I want to use my knowledge. I want to use all my teachings and even my continuing education to continue to help us grow the right way, not just to throw a business out there to say, you know, I got a business name. It's so much that's behind the scene that a lot of people don't realize. So that's where I kind of come in to help you to realize and reach your full potential.
That is amazing. That is awesome. That is awesome. You're doing a great work. You're doing a great work.
Thank
And
you.
you said Gay had so many nuggets, and I kind of was like, okay, I want to say something about this. I want to say something about that. And I've lost it. So
Okay. It's all right. Yes, you know, I'm always here. I love talking to people. That's one thing about me, you know. I love talking to people. And I appreciate it. I appreciate every ounce of support that's ever given to me or ever poured into me. I take none of it for granted, you know.
yes,
Don't get me
yes.
mad now, but I
Now,
take none of it for granted.
hey, the one thing I wanted to talk to you about resumes,
Mhm.
because resume styles have changed so much, and there's all kinds of resumes anymore. You got the video resume, you got the presentation style resume, all these different types of resumes, and you
Mhm.
kind of focus on all of those.
Yes. So I have the ability to be able to support if you wanted to do a video resume, if you want to do a video mock interview, but as well as the traditional resumes. And again, although it may be a traditional paper resume, my
It's
resume is
not
so gotcha.
right because now have you coined those position names by any chance? I mean, because I love it.
You know what? I never write it down. I always
It just comes to you.
Yeah, every one of my clients that come to me, I listen to them. They tell me of where they are, what their skills are, and where they're trying to go with their resume. And I may not be able to say it to you on our consultation, but by the time I'm getting you your resume back, I done came up with some words. I've never done the same resume twice. I've never copy
That's
and paste.
awesome.
I don't use I had someone ask me the other day, well, what template do you use? I don't, I use my brain. And I literally create them from scratch because again, this is something that represents me. And when I give it to you, it's a representation of us, and I'm going to make sure you get the full and most, abundant support when it comes to that. So the wording, I think, I can't really say where I got it from. Maybe I watched too many movies and listened too much, music, but it just comes to me, just creating that. I just want people to reach their full potential. You're more than just this. Don't just keep yourself in a box to think that you're just a customer service representative or that you're just a mom. Because I can take
That wasn't supposed to happen. That's supposed to happen in a minute. But anyway, go ahead.
I can take a mom who's been a stay-at-home mom for, the last 10 years, and I can create you a resume to say you as well have been quality control over adolescents. You prepared meals on a daily basis. You made sure that individuals were cared for in a protective and safe environment. You provided...
maintain their schedules and all that other kind of stuff.
Data. When you go in there and you paying them bills, you are data entry at that point.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
You are able to reach your full potential, no matter what you look like on paper. We go take it up a notch. So
I love it. I love it. I love it. I have another commercial. So let commercial break. Yes, that's a little plug for me. If you are interested in a 30-minute consultation to talk about some things that may be going on with you and or your children and your family, schedule it at bit.ly/Vera Thomas. Yes, if you are interested in me coming to speak, I'm available to do that. And I'm also a trainer. I customize training programs. I work with youth and adults and senior citizens. So keep me in mind. All right. Had to give that little plug. And all right. So how long have you been doing now HR? Over 10 years experience.
Yes.
And the creative side, have you always been creative? And
I would say I've always been pretty creative when it comes to a lot of things. I'm not pretty crafty. I would never call myself as being crafty, but when it comes to like words, I've always been pretty good with words. I was never like a big reader, and my mom used to always be like, read this book, find a book that you read. And I finally found a book like 7th or 8th grade that just really caught my attention. And from there, I just started reading. And just those different words and listening even to like rap music and just the way that they use wordplay and rap. Now I'm not a rapper. I could never just like freestyle for you or anything like that, but I could freestyle your resume. And in the same way that they may make their lyrics flow, So I just like to say, we're all a lyricist in some form or fashion. Mine is just on paper as opposed to over music ballads. So that's kind of how I got into it. I think it's just reading, being in different environments, just grasping onto different words, and I found a love for words, and
yeah, I love words too. I do. And now your children, you said your daughter is 17.
Yeah, so my daughter will be 17 this year, and then my son will be 10 this year. The two is just two and through. One each.
Two and through. Okay, I hear you. Well, let me ask you, as a mother, because one of my areas is working with parents and their children. So, and you were a single mom.
I still am.
I still am. Okay, yes, you did say that.
Temporarily,
because you're claiming it. You're claiming it. Yes, you're claiming it.
I'm happy.
As a single mother, what would you say to other single mothers out there who are trying to do it all? Being a single mom, working, and they may be in school, or they may, so what would you say to single moms out there? And what would you consider to have been one of your biggest challenges as a single mom?
So I would say to all single moms out there, there is not one handbook when it comes to being a parent. These kids don't come out with a manual. And so I definitely would say do the best that you can. People can provide opinions on what you should do or what you shouldn't do, but you have to do what's best for you and yours. I would definitely continue to tell single moms, single parents, whether you're single mom, single dad, single aunt, grandparent, keep pushing, keep praying. There's going to be some highs and lows, just like with anything in life. And being a parent is, I think, one of the most rewarding roller coaster rides that we can go on, because you get to, see the children and their smiles at their highest points, but you also get to be able to be there, to be the one to hug them and hold them when you guys may get to a lower point. But through all these points and highs and lows and valleys we may go through, we keep going. You just keep going and keep pushing, keep praying, keep God first in everything that I do. Pray your way through. If you don't believe in the power of prayer, I would definitely say, whatever it is that you believe in that helped you through the last point where you thought you couldn't get through it, use that. When every time I think about where I am, or just like, being a full-time entrepreneur, the finances are definitely different. But as I go through and as I experience things that I've seen before, this time I'm going through it with experience. I'm not going through it from scratch. So the worries that I may have had 11, 12 years ago, I don't have those worries today, because I know that my faith is stronger than my fear. And as long as we continue to rely on that, and we continue to look forward and know that better days are coming, you can't have a rainbow without rain. It just doesn't make sense. You can't even spell rainbow without rain. And so we got to understand that through our storms is where we find ourselves, is where we find where God wants us to be. It's through the storm, because we got to go through to get to. And that's just, every mother, I don't care if you're a single mother, single father, single aunt, just a single person, or just a person in general. That's not just limited to a single mother. We all have to go through to get to something. And we just have to understand that everything that we go through is not necessarily meant to hurt us. We have to realize what the lesson and what the blessing is in it all. Because although I may have went through what one may look at as being the worst time of my life, it made me who I am. If I had not gone through that, I may not be as humble or as forgiving or as loving or, as genuine as I am today. Those situations humbled me. That rain humbled me to get to my rainbow, because I'm living in my rainbow. It may be, it may be a little dim sometimes, shine bright. So, that's just where I am with it. And
that's amazing. That's amazing. That's beautiful. And you said, put God first. You said, pray. And I'm with you 100%. And I used to, and I've shared this before, I used to have a sign on my refrigerator that said, why pray if you're going to worry? Why worry if you're going to pray? Yep. Because prayer is that when you put your trust in whatever it is you're believing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, for me, for you, it's Christianity, but whatever it is you're believing, if you believe it, then have faith in what it is that you're believing, and know through your prayers that the universe, your God, my God, they're going to, he's going to work it out. And if he did it once, he can do it again and again and again.
He did it for me, he can definitely do it for you. I'm not a celebrity. I am not anybody that's higher than the next person. That's not me. I'm not there. But I promise you, like, if God looked out for me, imagine what he'll do for you. Imagine what he can do in other people's lives who I wasn't always faithful, in my teachings and learnings. And I did, kind of what we would call turn our back on God. But again, the faithfulness and things like that, if it wasn't for that, just, you gotta keep it and you gotta push it.
Yes. Hi, Felicia. She says, hello, Queens. Yes, put God always first. Walk by faith and not by sight. Absolutely. Walk by faith and not by sight. And if you have the faith the size of a mustard seed, you got enough faith to see that God will see you through. And I love when you said you got to go through to get to, which is so true.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then she says, our blessings from God bears witness that he will bless others. Absolutely. Yes. And you talked about your story, and you mentioned that everybody has a story. And so I want to say to our listening audience, everybody has a story. And there's all kinds of opportunities. If you're not comfortable writing your story as a book by itself at first, get involved in some anthologies and co-writings of books. As a matter of fact, there's one coming up, Raising Children. You talked about there not being a blueprint. Well, this evangelist Sandra Jackson. What is that noise? Do you
hear it? Yes, ma'am. I did.
Okay, I don't know where it's coming from, but anyway, that's not happened before. But anyway, Sandra Jackson, she is the visionary. Are you familiar with the book?
Yes, she was a part of the I Am Woman book as well, and we also both spoke on the platform for the I Am Woman conference. So I've met her in person. Where I've done the platform with her for the She Said Yes to Herself.
Yes, you might want, and I was there too. Okay, yes. You might want to consider checking her out, talking to her about what she's doing, because you got some wise ideas and thoughts that you could bring into this project.
Yes, thank you. I definitely look into it.
Yes, definitely. And tell her that I recommend that you do that, okay?
Okay.
Yes, please do that. Okay. Well, listen, I do have another commercial I need to play.
Okay.
So let me find it, and then I will play it. Yes, okay. Here we go.
Reality today with Ms. Mac Marketing. 848-236-5026.
Ms. Mac Marketing. If you are looking for a publicist, or you're looking for someone that's going to help you shine, then by all means contact Ms. Mac Marketing. All right. So Again, her link, how you can reach her, you can go to her link tree, Unique I Am, her Facebook, Unique I Am, IG, Unique I Am 2. Okay. 2. All right. All right. So you have so much going on. Do you have any special things coming up that you'd like to share?
Sure, yes. So I do have, if you're local, if you're in the Detroit area, I always say follow me on social media because I'm always doing speaking engagements or I'm always at a vendor event around the city or in the surrounding areas. I have a speaking engagement coming up with the Pretty in Pink, and we're I'm on a platform with some amazing, amazing women from Detroit who will be speaking on their specific, niches and things that they're great at. I stick to my lane. I'm in HR, so I talk about that and just conquering corporate confidence. And I'm always on social media promoting who I am, promoting authenticity, promoting and empowering women. And then I have a few master classes that I do throughout the year. Every month, I'm doing one for free, just giving out free gems about how to improve a business bio, a resume, or just keeping people up and abreast on laws. So subscribe to my website to be able to see that. And then also, I just dropped this year the corporate collection. So I definitely would love for people to join the corporate collection. I tell people it's a movement. If you purchase any of the products, you are a part of the movement. If I provide any HR support, I'm always available to do consultations for HR support, for resume support. If you go to my link tree, and I always tell people follow me on there, and I gave you some gems. I'm gonna give y'all some free stuff, but then I'm gonna make sure it's enough where you like, Shayla, I want to sit and work with you because I want to hear your story. I want to talk to people and get the authenticity from them as well. So I'm always doing something. I'm always trying to stay on the move, whether it's an interview, whether it's in-person events. I'm always trying to stay busy. And if you get HR support from me, you get to become an HR bestie. So I created that this year. So people that work with me, and again, that part of it was poured into me by another, Black woman who owns her own business. And I sat with her for 20 minutes and she helped me to think of this HR bestie thing. So guess what? Y'all can be an HR bestie with me, or you can join the movement by purchasing any of the Unique I Am products.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And I'm sure your children are very proud of you.
Yes. Yes, they are. My daughter, she's of age now where she really does tell me all the time, I'm so proud of you, even on days that are hard for me. It's like, God sends his angels, and she'll send me a text like, I saw your new post, and I'm really proud of you. Keep pushing you know that you are unique. So, it's those moments, and they're definitely proud. My son, he soaks up a lot of the attention because he goes to a lot of events with me. So, he's the biggest help when it comes to that. Just helping at events, carrying things. And he also, I'm trying to raise a gentleman. So he helps
right.
other vendors, and he loves to help them, especially the ladies. He helps them to make sure that they can get all their things in as well. So I will say, yes, they are very proud of me. I think that they really embark and really are enjoying this journey that we're on now. And I believe that they're appreciative for where we've come.
And who knows, as a result of doing and watching you, they will realize some dreams that they have for themselves. And I know without question or doubt, you're going to encourage that, nurture that, and build from that. I hear it. Okay, so this has been awesome. I've really enjoyed you being here. And I'm going to do a couple more commercials because I wanted us to talk. But I do have a couple more commercials I need to do. And then we're going to be chiming out. I do, again, want to encourage you to please donate to help support this show. And the one that's coming up on Thursday, my premiere show on Thursday at 7 o'clock. And I have an entertainer, a rapper that's going to be my guest. Yes. So please use Cash App, $ and still great. PayPal and or Zelle, Vera Thomas Show 1117@gmail.com. So please help support my show. And again, Shayla, much success to you. Thank you so much for being here. And I am going to say to my, and please hold on, don't leave out, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to say to my listening audience, thank you so much for watching. Please share. And again, if you like what we're doing here, please donate. Thank you very much. And you guys just have a wonderful, wonderful remaining week. God bless.
The Vera and Thomas Show. The Vera. The Vera and Thomas Show. 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 Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Bye-bye.